Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chaos TV Challenger Series number 16. This is NoRemorse versus TheRED in this round of 16. My name is Nature, and I am joined by Spuddington.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to be back on again. Yesterday we had a bit of a less than ideal time when myself and Nature were casting with some technical issues there. But this time, hopefully, the servers will hold fast for the duration of this game. And Nature, I know that we have not really seen no remorse very much recently, and I'll probably give you a little bit of a spiel about that in a minute. But do you know much about TheRED?
Well, I do know that TheRED is, of course, a Russian team that was hyped quite badly, and they did, well, to some extent manage to live up to their expectations, as they did pull off quite a lot of good games in the last Challenger Series, I believe.
Yeah, TheRED have proven themselves to be a really solid team from Russia, indeed, as you mentioned. But the other team they are up against today, NoRemorse, are essentially a team that we've actually seen before. We've never seen them operating under this name, but you may remember previously Avalanche Prime, a couple of weeks back, actually took some surprising games against their opponents that we were really not expecting them to take out of it. Guys like Team Dignitas UK getting knocked out in straight sets, essentially, by almost the same lineup here. They have swapped out their top laner since then, and they've moved organizations like 2 or 3 times now. Odor Amne is the new player, swapping out for Anstrom. Now they have Mover, now they have Sliver, now they have Dan, Big Goose, and Odo Amne as their full lineup there. So, I'm spectating from the stream for right now. Nature, what are the picks so far?
Yeah, we've got Mover picking that Rengar, of course, for his team. That has been coming up quite often since it has come off that ban that it has had. Odo Amne picking the Thresh, and Sliver picking himself the Ezreal. On the other side, however, on the side of TheRED, that is, we do have the Caitlyn coming out, which we do not see too often these days. Now, it is one of those traditional carries that we see being picked up a little bit more than the other traditional carries, and Dimashka and Dimonko are looking to pick up the Lee Sin and the Zyra.
Alright, well, that would be an interesting choice there, but Caitlyn, champion we've actually seen a fair bit of recently. She's maybe not quite as popular as, for instance, Jinx or, for instance, Lucian, but obviously those options... Well, Jinx is available, but Lucian has been banned out this game, so I'm not too surprised to see Caitlyn being locked in there. Very strong. Ezreal, actually, however, though, we've seen a little bit less of. He's still definitely very strong, still definitely very mobile, and scales extremely well into the mid game and contributes AoE to his team, which is excellent and highly useful for them. But there is always that kind of slight feeling that he's going to fall off a little bit as the game goes by, and his early game can be unreliable depending on the lane matchup, and very heavily dependent on said lane matchup and the skill of the players involved, though I know that he is going to be played by a very skilled player this time. Now, NoRemorse, have they locked in their next couple of champions?
Yeah, NoRemorse right now are picking up the Karma for Big Goose, or for their support rather, as Dan is right now hovering over the Teemo. Of course, it is not going to be the Teemo, as we do have a little bit of a troll coming out of Dan right there, and he is hovering over the Rammus right now. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think I really have seen the Rammus up until now, maybe with a good reason.
Well, yeah, Rammus was actually changed in the last patch. They actually kind of nerfed his taunt, but they did make it better at rank 1, so maybe he's going to plan on playing that, but I'd be surprised if they did do that. The interesting pick here, though, is the Karma, because it looks like they're actually running Karma mid lane here, picking it blind, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that they're not running Nidalee here. I know that Big Goose plays an excellent Nidalee, we've seen it in the past, but in this case Karma seems to suit that sort of playstyle pretty well, and NoRemorse have definitely picked themselves into a very strong split pushing and sieging composition here. They have got Karma and Ezreal, and obviously Thresh with the death sentence to lock people down at towers. So really, really interesting. And I have actually also just received word this is a legitimate Rammus pick. It is not a placeholder.
Yeah, it certainly is. As on the other side of the red, they are looking to pick up the Kale, which has been quite powerful in, of course, the LCS promotion in the hands of Overpow. Now we will see whether the red will make such good use of it as it has been used in the promotion series, of course. And I think that the Karma is here to actually, well, help the Rammus make ganks happen, because of course the Karma can really speed up the Rammus to the point where you really cannot escape from him. I do think, or I do know, however, that Sliver really likes the Ezreal for himself, so that is probably the reason why he picked it up as well.
Yeah, Ezreal is always a very skill-based champion. One extra Q can be really influential in how trades go with him. He's still very strong even in less skilled hands, but in the hands of a master, he can be really brutal. I do like these two compositions though, but I have to say I actually really like NoRemorse. They were actually the first team when they were back as Avalanche Prime. They were one of the first teams to jump on the kind of bandwagon of mobility compositions. I believe they were the first team I saw running Sivir as their AD carry after the rework. So they're very up on this style of play, this mobility and this split pushing and this lane rotation catching. Only thing they're going to have to watch here is that the Red have picked up a really strong team fight here with Renekton and Kale, Zyra follow up, and Caitlyn to harass from around the edges. Now, regardless, guys, we are going to be going into a quick commercial break while we wait for the delay timer to tick down, so I'll see you after this break.
From across the room, I taste your energy. I see a light that I never knew. You are overtaking me, mesmerized, paralyzed. When your eyes find mine, that's when you leave me. The world drifts around me, emotionless.
feet off the ground, head to the sky. Yeah, wind by my side. You in my vision, directly we collide. You pull me in, I don't resist. Time seems to fly, but the clock doesn't tick. I crash into you, we both feel the hit. We both feel the way that our chemicals mix, and I wish that
Just keep my eyes shut. Maybe this time it'll be enough.
so I need the dark. Without you here, I would never see the stars. I'm headed for you. Put on the gas. I'm coming straight at you, no looking
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the round of 16 in the EUS Challenger Series number 16. We usually have an 8-man bracket, but it felt somehow thematically appropriate to have that. But regardless, this is NoRemorse versus TheRED, and it is right now underway. Looking like we might see a... Well, I have no idea when they're going to go for an invade, but probably a late invade from NoRe on this bottom area. Mover is hanging in the brush, playing Thresh. And I'm just going to leave you with that thought while I hand over to my co-commentator here, who is Nature.
Yeah, so we do know NoRed or Avalanche Prime as we used to know them for their impressive lane rotations and picking up objectives. Now, as you said, NoRemorse might just be looking to make something happen here, as we do have Nixar backing away in the end. That might be the signal for Mover to go in there with the rest of his team. I'm not too sure whether he was actually in range to see that. No, he was not. So they will be backing away. The minions have spawned, and Oduamne just passed over a ward, and this might be real trouble if he decides to go in here. Oh, he does get locked up by the grasping roots. No real threat for him though, because it really doesn't do too much damage at this point yet.
Very fortunate there by Oduamne, because it was a good call out by TheRED, putting that ward in the little brush you can see in the river. He bypassed that to get there, so they knew he was coming. Unfortunately managed to just completely whiff with Lee Sin Q. Wasn't able to follow it up, wasn't able to force the flash, and Rengar is now going to know that he's in that 2-on-1 lane, which gives him the chance to go to the Wolves now, take them away, and get that little bit of extra farm up for himself.
And this actually, yeah, this is a Karma mid, which I did not actually see in the champion select, but regardless, now we do have a Karma mid. But how do you think actually the Rengar is going to face up against the Renekton in this 2 versus 1 situation? Of course, he is doing a little bit of a jungle, which might just set him ahead a little bit, but I don't think Rengar is the strongest farmer compared to Renekton.
No, in general, Renekton is going to have a better time in a 2-on-1, but not by a long way. Rengar can do okay, and he has been able to go back and pick up a couple of extra potions, having taken the Wolf Camp, so he's not losing out on a whole lot of experience, and obviously the lane was frozen up there. So he is actually possibly going to come out okay here. He's a little bit less threatening though than Renekton is in terms of supporting ganks, and that does mean that the Red are free to push a lot more consistently for a lot longer, whereas the bot lane, Lee Sin, you can see now joining up with Renekton. That's a dangerous lane. He'll stay with them, and as long as they don't take too much poke, they may try for an all-in once they've gotten rid of that minion wave.
And meanwhile, in the middle lane, we did have a little bit of a gank coming out of Dan, who tried to get a hold of They Will Pay, and he did force the flash out of They Will Pay, so no flash available for him, and that might just signal Dan to go in there once again. However, he is being summoned over towards that top lane, as Oduamne might be in a little bit of trouble there, as he's having trouble defending his turret. And of course, in that bottom lane, Yamashka on the side of the red is already defending that turret, as you said. So, well, as you can see, there is a little bit of a difference on damage on that turret, and Odoamne is definitely not winning this.
No, he's not able to clear the waves nearly as quickly, and the problem here, from NoRemorse's perspective, is that Rammus is not going to be a very good defender here of this tower. Until he's got his ultimate, his wave clear is inconsequential, and that means that they are just going to have to rely on his auto attacks and his potential threat with the taunt to push them away. But I really don't think the Red are going to be too worried about that. They've got Zyra to peel them off Caitlyn. Caitlyn has obviously got traps and nets to keep herself safe, so keep an eye on this top tower. They will try and hold on to it as best they can, but I really think they're going to have a lot of trouble now. And you can see the sustain is useful there for Rengar, but not really going to hold him in forever.
No, he is taking quite some damage, so he might be in trouble if they do get maybe another grasping roots on him, because he is sitting on around 200 HP as he decides to back away in the end. He's sitting on 18 farm compared to the 10 of Renekton, so he's doing quite good in that regard. But then again, he did decide to do some jungle camps or to finish off some jungle monsters. And meanwhile, that middle lane, we do have a little bit of damage coming down on They Will Pay. Wow, Big Goose is doing quite some work with the inner flame, and They Will Pay might just be forced to back away here.
Yeah, that is actually a really interesting thing, because if Karma gets into this situation where both of the laners are on very, very low health, and where you know that the jungler isn't going to gank because they're both visible, that actually really, really favors Karma. She can use that Mantra W when it becomes available to bait massively. However, once Kayle has hit 6, that situation actually reverses, because Kale's ultimate becomes hugely valuable in super low health battles. I'm actually curious as to whether it would nullify the healing effect. I doubt it on the Mantra W.
Yeah, here comes the kill ultimate in meanwhile in that middle lane. Big Goose taking a whole lot of damage. Minions, yeah, minions do manage to finish him off. That is first blood going over to the Red, and they might just be looking to finish off that top lane turret, as we do have the Dan going over there. Nixart pops a ward into the bush, and here comes Dan, but he will be spotted out, and they are looking to finish off Odoamne. Here comes Dan once again, here comes Dan, does get the taunt off on Demonko, and I don't think he'll be able to finish this off, or will he, because he's doing quite some damage on him, but Demonko will be able to get out of there, and they do manage to defend the turret, just for now.
Now, that is one of the interesting things about Rammus. You saw how much damage just solo here that he was doing to Demonko. It's kind of deceptive. Rammus outputs a lot more damage than people suspect. That's one of the reasons he got nerfed. However, in the bot lane, there is another engage.
Yeah, he is forced to flash out. Move there, that is, uses the Dark Passage on himself. Dimashka actually flashing for it, gets ignited and is forced to safeguard right out of it again. And Mover almost dying there, but not quite yet this time either.
Yeah, a couple of near misses on both sides now. Jamalke, or however you say that name, is in a battle to the death with White. He will pick that up without dying, so that's obviously good for him. But that top tower is gonna fall pretty much as soon as Nixar wants it to now. And that puts NoRemorse seriously quite behind on this lane rotation thing. And it also means now that Big Goose falling behind in the mid lane is going to make it difficult for him to roam around and make plays. The sole advantage they do have right now, though, is that Fireys is low, that duo lane is likely to recall, and Rengar does have ultimate. If he wants to try and roam around and make a play, it does look like the tower is going to fall, though. So we'll see where the Red chooses to send their duo lane now.
And NoRemorse do have the death sentence available right about now. Frimus does recognize the threat and backs away. Now, of course, he is told to back away, of course, because Demonko and Nyx are heading in towards that lane. I do think Sliver and his support will be picking this turret up, however, as that is probably going down within the next couple of seconds. Trusha Barrage comes across, and that will clear out those minions. So turret going down here, that makes it 1-to-1 in turrets, as we do still have, of course, the Red in the lead. Meanwhile, Big Goose in getting his blue buff to get that extra mana regeneration and cooldown reduction in there, and well, everything returns to, well, normal, if you will.
Yeah, good props there to NoRemorse's bot lane, getting that tower down in that quick period of time. However, they are going to lose a bit of damage on the tower in return. Assuming that Ezreal isn't able to get back there immediately. Also gives them the potential to get that ward down there, and that gives them a lot of control over the Dragon Pit area. They can threaten that now, and worth noting as well, they can take it pretty sharpish, so it's going to force responses out of No Remorse if they choose to threaten that dragon area fairly quickly. And obviously, having the vision control means they can just maneuver around nicely. But now it does seem like we're just going to be seeing the straight 2-on-2 in the bot lane and the 1-on-1 in top.
Yeah, and hold that thought for a second, because we do have Dimashka Miwa in that middle lane. Maybe looking for a gank on Big Goose here. He's standing by, waiting in the wings. They will be putting a little bit of pressure. Miwa on the bottom lane, however, we do have Rand going in. Stranglethorns comes down. Rand gets knocked up. Will be getting out of there with the Dark Passage. Sliver's not done yet as he picks up Demonko. Now looking for the kill on Nixar. Nixar taking so much damage. Sliver dodges the Zyra passive. Nixar is forced to flash in the end. So Flash going down as he tried to dodge the Trusha Barrage right there.
Kale is going to try and cut them off here, though. They need to watch out for this.
Yeah, Death Sentence doesn't quite connect. Box comes down, and they will pay. Trying to do as much work as he can. Great kill ultimate right there. Does negate the Dan knock up, and Sliver goes down to They Will Pay. Big Goose tried to intervene right there, but he wasn't quite on time.
And we actually have Dominus popped in the top lane too.
Oh, Oduamne might be in trouble here. Action all over the board as Fires goes in quite deep. Oduamne trying to heal up as fast as he can. He's got no turret. That is going to be trouble for him, but he is a little bit too fast for Fires at this point to chase down. So no kill happening right there for now. There might just be a kill happening as we do have the Slice and Dice going in, and he goes out with the Slice and Dice once more.
This is actually a dangerous situation for Firies though. Rengar is strong in these low health fights.
Oh yeah, the Ignite is ticking. He has used his ultimate. Maybe we can see a kill happening here. Jumps on towards Fires. Fires stuns him up almost instantly, but here is Dan to help him out. Dan does hit a minion, however, and here comes a taunt. No problem for him. Down goes Fires.
Really nice play there, but it did cost them quite a lot because of that bottom lane failure there. Overcommitting just a little bit to the kill on the Caitlyn and looking for the Zyra as well. Or actually, no, looking for the kill on Caitlyn and getting the kill on the Zyra in the bot lane kind of has resulted in Kayle with that gank getting them a dragon. So now we actually have the red a little bit ahead on gold at the moment, about 1,200 between the two teams. And that's fairly significant at this stage of the game. However, No Remorse's mobility style of composition may start to come into play now, although Oduamne was forced to use his ultimate in that all-in against Renekton up top.
And look at this, No Remorse looking to maybe make something happen in that blue buff area, as they do decide to ward it up, so they will of course know when it respawns, as they are looking to maybe flank Nixar and Demonko here. They do decide against it in the end, and they return to their lane. Now Nixar is pushing out this lane, and Mover and Sliver will just happily be taking those minions that are just walking to their death. Now meanwhile that middle lane, both Dan and Dimashka standing by to maybe make something happen here. They Will Pay is one level ahead of Big Goose. So we do have once again the Inner Flame coming out with the mantra, I believe. And well, They Will Pay is backing away for now, as he is sitting on 2,500 gold. So he will probably buy himself something nice.
Yeah, really nice bit of gold to have. And I've got to note right now, Firies in the top lane versus Rengar starting to have serious trouble. He's being pushed back gradually. Oduamne is a very solid player. Dan in the mid lane though did just aggro the tower. Doesn't look like the Red are going to try and follow that up. So Rengar in this top lane now that he is ahead of Renekton and is pushing him back over and over, that's going to create a lot of map pressure and a lot of opportunities for No Remorse in general to try and make plays across the map. And it puts the onus now on the Red. They have to either try and gank Rengar to force him away, which gives No Remorse opportunities in the mid lane, or they have to push really hard in that mid to try and force No Remorse themselves to respond.
Isino comes out in that middle lane. Big Goose does negate quite a little bit of damage of that with his Inspire. Now, meanwhile, Sliver has rotated over towards that middle lane, and as we said earlier, No Remorse are almost famous, you could call it, for their lane rotations, as they do manage to pull that off once again. And meanwhile, that top lane, Fire is taking a whole lot of damage. Oduamne might be looking to finish him off, but Fire wisely decides to back away here. He isn't sitting on too much gold, so he will not be buying himself too much. And Dan and Oduamne are looking to push down this turret.
Yeah, that will be a free turret for them, and this is starting to look a little bit dodgy for the Red. they don't really have an easy answer to Rengar. You can see what happens if they one-on-one him with Renekton. He just gets pushed back. He can't cope with the sustain from Rengar over time. That's a dangerous situation to be in because he's going to continue that split push pretty much the rest of the game. He'll go for the Sunfire Cape, then he'll go for the Spirit Visage. Don't know if you've heard those particular items being used on top lane as top laning split pushes before, but that is indeed most likely what will happen. And NoRemorse really do have a little bit more control at the moment. But the siege is going to come in from the red on the mid lane now. But Karma seems to be kind of scaring them off here.
Yeah, they really cannot deal with the Karma wave clear at this point. Oh, almost a death sentence connecting in that middle lane. Not quite yet though, so they will be dodging that one out. Now he is waiting just along the side right there, maybe to make something happen here once again. We do have Big Goose, who is well, defending this lane on his own against 4 members of the red team. So he might be having some trouble, but once again, he is so powerful at wave clearing. But he hears Virus. He might just be able to make something happen. But Dan and Big Goose decide against defending that turret. And oh, here comes Dan. However, he might be able to taunt someone up, but he decides that in the end as well.
So a bit of damage put down there from the red. Good usage there, but NoRemorse did just mostly get all of their guys back to heal up, get themselves in a good position, and Rengar was pushing the top lane all that time, forcing a commitment from 2 men now. Fieries is in the top lane, popping dominance and going in with Lee Sin for backup.
Yeah, but meanwhile, that middle lane, they will pay getting knocked back, getting flayed back, and he goes down. He is a goner. Meanwhile, that top lane, as you said, Odiomna desperately trying to get out. He might just be able to make something happen on Dimashq here as he jumps on him, but the resonating strike connects. Dimashq might be in trouble himself now as Odiomna is trying to turn this one around. Dragon's Rage comes out, and Odiomna survives. So does Dimashq, but Odiomna doesn't seem to be quite done with this yet. Gets into the bush. Oh, and he somehow manages to finish off Dimashq. Now he's desperately trying to get away from Firez as he jukes into the brush, jumps in towards those golems. This is the great escape. Can he make it happen? It surely isn't looking like it. No, he cannot, as Firez picks up that kill. But meanwhile, NoRemorse picked up a turret in that middle lane.
Yeah, great job by Odoamne there. Very, very skilled player, by the way. I did not actually mention it, but he is apparently number 7 in the Challenger tier in solo queue right now. So he's a very, very skilled player. And very good job of just delaying the inevitable there. He knew he was going to die, but by committing 2 people to that top lane, he gave NoRemorse so much map pressure. They were able to take that mid tower as a result, and it even came out roughly equal in terms of kills. So nice bit of play there, and that actually now puts them into the lead overall.
As we did have a cheeky little smite coming out of Dan, who smited away one of those golems from They Will Pay, so They Will Pay will not be getting that little bit of gold. As meanwhile, NoRemorse rotating over towards that dragon area. This might be the very first dragon of the game, as they do get those sweeping lenses in there to clear out those wards. And they are pinging it, so they might be looking to do this. However, the red are fairly close, so this might be dangerous for NoRemorse if a fight breaks out, because of course, as you said, this really is a team fighting composition the red have here, so that is going to be dangerous for this well, mobility composition that NoRemorse has.
The only difficulty they might have here, the red that is pinning people down. Yes, it's a very, very strong fight, but they're going to have to land CC from Zyra to lock them down.
Yeah, oh, Stranglethorns comes, or the Grasping Roots comes in. Here comes the Stranglethorn. We do have the kill ultimate coming down on Firez trying to get out of there, as we do have Dimashq stealing the dragon, knocks back the Thresh, and he dies right now. Dan desperately trying to get away. Dimashq gets sped up by They Will Pay. He is trying to get that Sonic Wave in there, does connect it on towards Sliver. Sliver is trying to turn this one around, doesn't quite connect the arcane or the mystic shot, and that is a 1-for-0 and a 1-for-1 rather, and the dragon picked up for the red.
And Odoamne is actually now in a bit of an awkward situation right now. Fieries did flash for the stun on him, but it looks like he's going to be able to put some distance between them. He's wasting a lot of time here for the red, even if he goes down.
Yeah, Odoamne desperately trying to get away, as we do have a great taunt coming out of Dan, delaying Firez, as he do get a whole lot of damage down on himself, but Firez is surely going to be going down here, as we do have Dan picking that one up. Now They Will Pay no kinds of trouble as Odoamne gets away with the Dark Passage, and Mover picks up the kill, and they will pay. That is a 2-for-1, as we did have Dan going down in the end.
Very, very good play there by Dan. Just getting in there at the last possible second, and Odoamne is really ballsy, as is Mover.
Yeah, Sliver is trying to run after Mover and, well, help him with picking up Nixar. Oh, great! Our true shot barrage, sorry about that. And Sliver picks up Nixar once again. That is a whole lot of kills coming in here for NoRemorse, and they really are looking strong here.
Very, very confident play just across the board. I mean, you've seen how many times Odoamne has gone back in on 100, 200 health, relying on the health and his tankiness. Mover there just going in, knowing his AD carry was much, much weaker at that point than Nixar, but just relying on his ability to shield him from the damage of Caitlyn, and as a result, they do pick up another kill there very nicely indeed. So, NoRemorse now starting to build up a significant lead. They have got that 1,000 gold, and we actually did see, even though this is somewhat of a team fighting composition, as I mentioned as the fight was breaking out, TheRED are having a lot of trouble locking down any members of NoRemorse, even if they're able to get a 5-on-5. And that's going to be seriously problematic for them, because sustained fights are where Karma, Rengar, and Ezreal are really, really good. They've got lots of shielding, they've got lots of mobility so they can maneuver into good situations, and they also have that sustain, so really, really dangerous now for TheRED. They have to start making plays across the board. They do, however, have a small kind of crumb of comfort, though, in that their late game is going to be very, very scary, but even then, are they going to be able to lock people down?
Yeah, that is indeed a little bit of a problem for them. As meanwhile, Mover is, as you said, extremely ballsy at this point. He is looking to maybe pick up the LP. The LP has, of course, spotted out those 3 members that are waiting in that bush as they are sitting on a ward. Mover might be looking to land a hook here, but the LP is wise enough to stay far out of range. Dan looking to speed up here, maybe get a pick on towards the LP. The LP is going to be in real trouble if this connects. Taunt lands, the LP gets death sentence back. He has used his ultimate, but is it going to be enough? Nixar shows himself. Mover takes some damage. Here's Big Goose, doesn't quite get locked up by the grasping roots, as he will be picking up the LP right there. They are looking to back away. Odoamne has used his thrill of the hunt, and he decides against going in the end. But we do have Sliver in that middle lane picking up yet another turret.
Yeah, and there's minion pressure in the top. They've got the numbers advantage now that Kale is down, and shielding the minion there means they're going to be able to take this down quite quickly. And the Red just don't seem to have an answer. They have paused the game now. I'm not entirely sure exactly what the problem is, because they've unpaused it again within 2 seconds, so I'm not entirely sure what was up with that, but game is resuming.
Yeah, we do have the pause being stopped right now, or the game being resumed, as you said, as we do have that turret taking quite a little beating, and I do think that is going to be going down fairly quickly. Death sentence is going in there. Odoamne getting stunned up. Stranglethorns comes out, but they are not sitting on it, so that they are not getting knocked up. Mover desperately trying to get out as he takes a whole lot of damage. So we do have the Sonic Wave coming in there, and he goes in all himself, but this is 1 versus 5. He gets taunted up, takes a whole lot of damage. He is forced to flash out in the end. Fire is right now going in himself as well, but he takes a whole lot of damage himself, as he will be going down in the end. Big Goose picking that one up down. They will pay. That is a double kill for Big Goose. Big Goose gets the triple kill, looking for the quadra. Nixar gets slowed, doesn't quite go down in the end. That is a triple kill. Big Goose, so powerful at this point.
And we actually have a GG call now coming in from Lee Sin. They actually have a surrender vote failing 3-2 because they are a long way behind, and this is one of those games where composition is just playing a huge factor in this game. TheRED cannot lock anyone down from NoRemorse, and they don't seem to be able to cope with the lane rotations either, so really unfortunate stuff for them. Nixar may be able to pick up a consolation kill here. He's looking for it, but couldn't manage to finish it off. No.
Yeah, real nice, dark passage right there. That just denied Nixar yet another kill. But Nixar might be able to redeem himself by picking up Odoamne here. Odoamne is not going to let it happen, however, as he does change to a little bit of a safer position, and he will be backing away. Now he is sitting on 1200 gold, so he will be picking himself up some nice items as he picks himself up the Spirit Visage. So Visage, as
I would say visage, but then again, I have that kind of a personality that likes to be flamboyant in my choice of words.
Uh-oh, Dimashka might be in trouble here. Big Goose checking those bushes. Oh, not quite finding him right there, Dan, as he does manage to get out in the end. And Big Goose just returns to farming. Will the red looking for a dragon here? Can Mover steal it? I doubt it.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit challenging with the death sentence there. Dan is heading down, and in spite of how fast Ramus can be, I don't think he's quite that fast. Now, that's the red picking up a small gold, difference, but I just don't know what the answer is going to be in the end to the fact that they A, cannot split push, and B, do not seem to be able to team fight. They can look for picks, but they'd honestly have to outplay their opponents quite seriously in order to do that. They don't have as good tools in order to lock individuals down, as indeed Ramus may do now.
Yeah, Dimashka looking to safeguard over that wall, uses the Dragon's Rage to kick back down, but it's not going to be enough as Mover picks up that kill. Even the support is on a killing spree right now, and they are looking to cruise down to take down that top tier 2 turret. As we want that bottom lane, we do have Oduamna facing off against Fares, and well, as you said, Fares is not going to be coming out ahead in this one.
No, indeed, it's a bit difficult. Then you just literally get to a point when it's Renekton versus Rengar where you just can't damage him more than he can damage you, and he will sustain through all of your damage. You can only sustain through some of his. It just makes it very, very difficult to deal with. As it happens as well, the fact that Rengar's damage when he's got Battle Roar maxed up is a little bit hybrid with magic resist and physical damage. It makes it even more difficult to itemize against him. So really, really awkward situation. It's putting the red further and further behind. They may look for the engage here, but I don't know if this is going to work.
Dimashka goes in, box being used. Along comes a Trusha Barrage that will be picking up the Lee Sin. Right now, Fares goes in as well. Stranglethorns being used. Sliver desperately trying to get out as They Will Pay is chasing him down. Shutdown coming in on Big Goose. They Will Pay is not quite going down as Mover was forced to get out there in the end. Do have the flash coming out of Fares. He will be picking up Sliver. Now he might be looking for Mover. Mover is a little bit too sneaky for him though, as we do have Oduamna picking up one in the form of Demonko, as we do have the ace in the hole coming out. That will not kill Dan because he's really, really tanky at this point. Oduamna is not quite done yet. He might be looking for a kill here on towards Nixar, decides against it in the end, and he will just be backing away, and they are looking to take down this inhibitor bottom turret.
Yeah, but can they actually pin anyone down here?
Yeah, Oduamna is taking a whole lot of damage. He is desperately trying to get out. Mover uses his death sentence to defend his teammate. I don't see it being enough, however, as Oduamna gets a nice flash out of there, as he is still being chased, but he has managed to create quite a little bit of distance between him and his pursuers, as in the end, Dan might be looking for a little bit of damage on the Mashke here. Dimashka backing away in the end. Dan isn't looking to be quite done with him yet. Gets Dragon's Rage back as he uses the taunt, uses the ultimate. And Dimashka might be looking to pick up this kill. Dan is a little bit too cocky, maybe, I feel, at this point. As we do have the safeguard coming in. Dan in real trouble, but here is Sliver to backing up. Once again, another taunt. Trusha Barrage comes through. Will he be able to pick it up? Yes, he will. Now, Nyx are looking to pick up this kill on Sliver. Sliver, with those Trinity Force procs, will be able to get out of there with those speed buffs. And that was quite a nice bait out of Dan right there.
Yeah, really, really ballsy stuff. But Thriller the Hunt has been popped in the upper area. Demonko's in trouble.
He's being chased down by Oduamna and Big Goose, and I don't see him coming out of this alive, to be honest. Great Ebola right there. Demonko, no problem for him. As I should have called it Bola, not Ebola, wow.
Sorry, did you just call him Ebola?
Yeah, I just called it Ebola. It's Ebola strike, ladies and gentlemen, not Ebola.
Yeah, Ebola is a disease. I don't think Rengar is Twitch nowadays. But doesn't really matter. Odamne, Ebola, whatever, is fine. They'll be fine. Right, so Odamne glossing over that particular issue is actually now going to be trying to join up with mid lane Jamalke. Yeah, I don't think he's going to live. Oh,
he is certainly not going to live right there.
It was a good kick. Wasn't really going to help, if I'm going to be honest, there in the end. But was enough to fool me because I am very much a moment-by-moment thinker, and I don't seem to register sometimes when things are going to happen. Dan is very tanky, as you mentioned. He may look to just dive towers at this point. He gets so much armor from his W for free.
Great Talisman of Ascension right there does manage to peel for them quite effectively, as they are not quite done with this inhibitor. That inhibitor is taking quite a beating, and it seems that is going down. Oh, Dan has caught Demonko. Demonko taking a whole lot of damage. Great Truce Apparatus, but the kill ultimate will save Demonko for now. Gets a good Stranglethorns out, but is it going to be enough? No, it certainly is not, as Big Goose will be picking up that kill. Meanwhile, Sliver picking up Firez, and they might just be looking to cruise down towards that Nexus turret. Oduamna did bite the dust in the meantime, so it is a 4 versus 3 situation. To be honest, I think they can fight this, but then again, they might really want to be careful, because at this point, you don't want to throw.
Yeah, although, again, this is that composition thing, and I'm apparently about to be arrested, so I may talk about that in a sec.
Alright, so Big Goose getting caught here by Dimashka. He is taking a little bit of a beating, but Big Goose gets out in the end. Dimashka is, of course, not fast enough to catch up with a Dark Passage, and Big Goose survives. Ooh, we might have. They will pay. Is going to be finding Mover. Mover is wise enough to scout out his bushes, and or the bushes rather, and he will be just backing away safely. Spuddington, are you still with us?
Yes, I have been arrested, gotten out of jail, and been released for good behavior as of already. So, does seem at the moment like the Red are holding on decently well, but there is just that spectre that's looming over them that they don't seem to be able to lock down anyone from No Remorse. However, they do have that really, really strong late game on several of their characters. They have a huge damage potential that will come out from Kayle and Caitlyn, and good protection for them, but I just don't see No Remorse ever being forced to engage them. Cocky play like we saw before though with Dan, which did actually work out in his favor because he was able to stall for long enough, could potentially cause them to get caught in engages which wouldn't work in their favor. And if the Red actually were to get ahead, they could start to try and force fight down the mid lane, down the top lane with the just straight up tower sieging, but always going to be a little bit difficult for them from this point forward, and it does look like No Remorse are not going to mess around and they are going to try for this.
Yeah, and this is a great rotation once again out of No Remorse, realizing everyone of the red team is in that middle lane and far up it as well. So they will be just trying to take down this turret as fast as possible, as we do have Firez right there trying to defend that desperately. It is not going to happen, however. Firez getting locked up by the death sentence. He is way too tanky at this point for No Remorse, though. Dan getting locked up by the Stranglethorns. He's trying to turn this one around. Isn't quite working out for him as of yet. Oh, here goes Oduamna in towards Demonko. Gets knocked back over the wall, as does Mover. Will connect the death sentence to the Zyra plant and get back in there. And for now, it is looking like they will be picking up this inhibitor. Big Goose gets a Sonic Wave on himself, but there will be no following up on Demashka's part for now. So No Remorse picking up yet another inhibitor. Just one more inhibitor to go, and just one more Nexus turret to go. It is 21 versus 8 in kills. Wow.
Yeah, really significant difference between the two teams here. Even though the gold is only 7,000, and I say only here, even though that's quite a significant figure, but it's not a massive gold discrepancy, just on the grounds that the Red are farming quite well. They're doing okay on almost all fronts. It's just that they're not able to pin people down, and I know I've said it a multitude of times at this point, but it's really the crux of all of their issues. It's the crux of why they aren't able to force objectives, because they can't catch people out, because they get picked off one by one themselves, because they can't really contend with the split push from Rengar. You can see he's just constantly, I mean, he just doesn't even care. He knows that Lee Sin is behind him. He knew there was a high chance that he might get 2-on-1 to 3-on-1 there, but he knows he's so tanky. He knows he's got the stealth. He might be biting off more than he can chew here. I'm not sure, but I doubt it. He's just going to walk out.
Yeah, he just jumps in, walks out again, gets a Dark Passage, and rides to safety. Now we do have No Remorse rotating over towards that dragon area to find out that it has been taken already. A little bit of a consolidation price right there for the red team, as right now this might be the final push for No Remorse. They are looking to pick up that very last turret besides those Nexus turret. Beside that Nexus turret rather, as one has gone down already. As I don't think Whoa, so much damage coming down on Nixer, however, and I don't think he might actually have the red successfully defending this one. Oduamna might be in trouble, however. Fares and Dimashke 1 versus 2ing him, or 2 versus 1ing him at this point. That is a noun, or that is a ward actually, as right now Oduamna not quite taking too much damage, and he survives with 3,000 health.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally healing faster than they can damage him in a 2-on-1 situation. That is pretty silly. Kale can shred through him, and probably if Kalen was there in that 2-on-1, he could have. But now they're going under the tower.
Yeah, this is real trouble for the Zyra. Zyra goes down almost instantly. Fires desperately trying to make something happen, but he is taking so much damage himself. Somehow gets away right now. They will pay no kinds of trouble. Is forced to flash out of their Slivers, trying to chase him down, and he will be picking that one up. He's on a rampage. Double kill for him, and they are surely going to take down this Nexus. That is the very first game going over to NoRemorse rather, and that was quite, well, a good fashioned game for them, if you will.
Yeah, it really worked just according to their plan there. The Red never... I mean, they got ahead early on. They actually laned a little bit better. They won the tower race straight up, but they just didn't have an answer to the mobility of their opponents. And after a while, NoRemorse was able to abuse that, get picks, get towers, catch up, and then way overtake the game themselves. So the Red really need to rethink their strategy for the second game in this best of 3, which will be coming up after a short break. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have enjoyed my casting, you can follow me on Twitter, which is twitter.com/Spellington, Nature, at LucasNature. And the other thing I have to mention right now is that we are running a little, we have got a sponsor, Esports Venture, who is running a little bet function. So type !bet in chat for a little explanation, I think, is what I'm looking for there. See you after the break.